So, good afternoon, everyone. And it's wonderful that you've joined us on this Sunday afternoon. I know we usually do these workshops on a Saturday, but this was the available slot on a Sunday. And I know it's month end, and many healthcare workers just need a break and are taking some time out, which is wonderful. And so, for those of you who have made it today, congratulations. And to introduce myself, my name is Raksha, and I'm a medical doctor. I've been practicing for the last 19 years. I started as a medical student in 2006 at the University of Cape Town, and having qualified in 2001, I had returned back to KZN, where I continued to work in the government sector, exploring work in the UK, doing a diploma in anesthetics, working in various departments of health, in cardiology, in casualties, in general medicine, family medicine, psychiatry. And then I found my passion in palliative medicine. And so for the last few years, I have been working in the field of palliative medicine to bring support holistically and to bring total care to patients with advanced disease. And concurrently, I had also begun a journey of meditation when I was a medical student at the University of Cape Town. And this has really supported my journey as a healthcare worker and has supported me to be strong and able and not to develop burnout and compassion fatigue. And definitely having a spiritual foundation, having that base has been what has supported me all these 19 years working in very intense, high crisis environments in the government and private sector. This afternoon, this workshop is brought to you by the Brahma Kumaris and Vihasa. And the Brahma Kumaris is an amazing spiritual organization that has been supporting self-development, personal growth in communities in 130 countries, with at least 8,000 to 9,000 physical meditation centers. And the Brahma Kumaris has been exploring personal spiritual development in all spheres and all organizations, etc. And sorry, I think we just got some background noise. And so with the Brahma Kumaris, there were also many individuals in the UK who were feeling quite burnt out. And the head of the Janki Foundation, which is an organization that supports spiritual development of healthcare workers, and that supports an approach to holistic total healthcare. They had been meeting the president of the organization, Dadi Janki, and they were telling her about all the wonderful work that they were doing, in their environments, in psychiatry, in occupational therapy, etc., with all their colleagues. And she told them, look at yourself. You look like you need to be supported and sustained. Forget about just the patient. And so then they embarked on a project to really look at what were the stressors of the healthcare worker and how we could use spiritual tools of dialogue and appreciation and visualization, meditation, playfulness, creativity, etc., to really support healthcare workers in safe environments so that they could dialogue with like-minded individuals and support each other so that they can prevent that compassion fatigue, the burnout, and that they can continue to offer the best of themselves to their profession. And so many of us in South Africa had attended that training in the United Kingdom, and we returned then to create such a space for healthcare workers back here. So Vihasa has been operating in South Africa from 2006 and has conducted hundreds of workshops in all parts of Southern Africa, from the little dorpies to government clinics to private healthcare to military to NGOs. And it's been a wonderful journey of meeting like-minded healthcare workers who have this desire to serve, to support, to make a difference, and to be able to support those individuals so that they can continue to support our communities. And so the vision of Vihasa, which is the Values in Healthcare Association of South Africa, is to keep these healthcare workers, the lakes, replenished and supported so that they can sustain and nurture communities. And so that's a little bit about Vihasa and the Brahma Kumaris and myself. And so today, the aim of this third series, this third part in the series, is to really appreciate the year that we have gone through. We're now fast approaching the end of the year, and I'm sure most of you have many things to do to wrap up the year. And so really congratulations for making it today. And it's time now to take stock of the year. And so over the next 2 hours, can we spend this time to take stock and to end this year appreciating the growth experienced throughout 2020 and going forward with renewed aims and goals for 2021. Can you believe 2021 is just around the corner? And so from my conversations with my colleagues, for some, this is a year that they would like to take out of the book of their life. And for others, it has been the most balancing and most wholesome year in their lives. And I must say at the start of today's session that we salute the frontliners who have cared for South Africa and Southern Africa, and for those healthcare workers who have been affected and even lost their lives to COVID. And from my conversations with all of you over the last 2 series, we've also appreciated the many, many stressors that all of you were going through as we conversed over the last 2 sessions. The stress of new protocols and PPEs, being separated from families, long hours of work, lives being threatened by the community if a patient died. I remember one of my colleagues on this chat in the first session was sharing how, you know, they began their morning in a meeting just so scared and not knowing what the day would bring from the huge burden on their shoulders with this pandemic. And a colleague exposed to the resultant domestic violence also needed counseling and had to learn boundary setting because she shared how she was snapping at her husband and her children, and she needed to seek that counseling as a medical doctor because all that she had heard was quite difficult for her to manage herself. And so she sought help. And some have had to let go of their aims for the year, such as study, postgraduate study, and to make place for COVID in their lives. Many have lost jobs and are dealing with issues of insecurity. And whilst in my conversations with other colleagues, there's been, such a balance that has taken place. They have called it a blessed year. And this year has allowed them to create new ways of functioning and bringing balance in their life. And so it may be the only year that we've had time to connect with long awaited goals. And it is also a time to look at the self deeply, not distracted by others and socialization and keeping up with societal norms. But this is a year we could have created our new norm. And so, have you done that? Have you used this year with that attention that COVID has given us quite a scare? And how would I like to spend the rest of the years of my life? What new norm would I like to create for myself? And so, if you have not done that, let's do that now. And those of you who have done that, let's learn from you. And so, as we said, this program is always a learning community. So, we learn in our intimate conversations, in our breakout rooms. And so, let's look at ourselves and create a new normal for ourselves, even if it's in this last month of 2020, and so that we can carry this new normal with us into 2021. And so today's session is on self-compassion and valuing myself. And so before we continue, I know that many of you may be in homes and it might not be that you have your own private personal space, but we will need you over the next few sessions to try and be with us. And so if you can put in your headphones and if you can get some pen and paper, because we will be working with some concepts and then sharing with others. So if you can get some pen and paper, or if you're happy using your digital media or platforms like your notes on your phone, if you can use that when we ask you some reflective questions. And so today's topic, so I'll give you a minute or so to get that, and then we'll move into today's topic and experience that over the next hour and a half. So if you can get your pen and paper, and then we will start with the session. Okay, so while you're doing that, today's session, we will look at the aspect of self-care and valuing the self. And this is deep compassion for the self. I was just reflecting this morning that actually as a healthcare worker, there's three aspects that we need to really be in tune with. And the first aspect is competence. So naturally, as a healthcare worker, many individuals come to us for the skill that we have learned in caring for others expertly. So competence is one of the values that we need. And the other is confidence. And the third is compassion. And so confidence as well. And that is what we will explore more deeply today. Because in taking care of myself, in valuing myself, I developed that deep self-worth and self-confidence and self-respect. Because we're living in an ever-changing world. Once upon a time, many individuals came to healthcare workers with that trust, that looking for expert help, but also the healthcare worker was the confidant. And as the world became more and more fast-paced, and materialistic, and as expectations grew in the community, there is no more that that appreciation, and one doesn't look to the healthcare worker to support, but there's the expectation that you fix me or else. And so the high expectation placed on the healthcare worker has resulted in a lot of stress, self-doubt, and a hardening of the heart of the healthcare worker. And so, how do I continue to maintain my deep self-confidence and self-respect so that I beget respect? Because if I take care, if I value and respect who I am, then I teach others how to respect me. And so today's workshop, the aim will be to value the self, to develop that confidence. And the third aspect needed in a healthcare worker is that compassion. And like we shared, the title of today's workshop is self-compassion. And so the importance of starting with the self. I loved how a friend just in this week shared about this, and she said, you cannot be kind and express kindness if you don't know kindness and you don't experience it for yourself. So imagine somebody trying to be compassionate when they don't even know what it feels to experience compassion themselves. And so often this is the case. The healthcare worker is so focused on the patient and their to-do lists and making sure the patient is perfect and whole, and no time is spent on the self. And as a result of that, there is sickness, low morale, and there's financial and efficiency implications affecting not just myself with compassion fatigue, but also my work environment and my family. And so, physician, heal thyself. And so today we will not just explore the physical tools, but also how can I develop my self-confidence, my self-respect, and learn through my experiences to find meaning for myself and to only grow and develop myself, to heal myself, to value and care for myself so that I can offer that to the world. And so let's start this session then by getting to know some of you on the group. This session is always interactive. So I'm going to start with an icebreaker so we can get to know each other. The Values in Healthcare workshops are always designed so that in a safe environment, honoring respect and regard for the one speaking, honoring that tool of listening and confidentiality, we explore and learn from our colleagues in an adult learning community. And so I want to start the session with all of us getting to meet maybe one or two others on this group, because I think we all crave that one-on-one interaction. Because some of us are so full of the stressors in our head, it's wonderful to meet others who may have journeyed and worked out aspects in their experience. And so we'll project the first slide, which is a little icebreaker so we can get to meet each other. And Nita will project that. So I want you now, before we continue, to look at this question. Don't think too much. In a minute, well, not even in a minute, in a few seconds, think about what were my highlights of this year. So if you look at that image, I didn't choose it, but it's really very comfortable. And so, can I just sit back and reflect on what were my highlights of this year? What have I learned or developed in myself in all the change of 2020? So, for a minute, just whatever comes into your mind, what was the highlight of your year? What have I developed in myself in all the change of 2020? Because with adversity always comes deep, profound learning. And so this year has not been the easiest year, but I'm sure there's been amazing learning. And so, can I just choose one highlight, something I've learned in myself in all the change externally? What have I developed within myself in this year 2020? And we're going to break you up into groups of three, and we're going to give you just 5 minutes to share with your partner. So if within that 5 minutes, if all two or three of you in the breakout room could share your highlight in a few words with each other, or what you had developed within yourself in the year 2020. So we'll put you into breakout groups now with that question in your mind as you meet and introduce each other. If you can, in the breakout room, put your video on, so it will be like you're sitting in your lounge having a chat about what you've learned in the year 2020.
Hear now?
Yeah, there's a bit of sound.
Can you hear now?
Okay, great. So
Okay, yeah.
you're back. Sorry, I don't know what happened to the video, but
I
at
don't know
least
what
you can
happened to the
see.
video.
Yeah,
But I say at least I can see. They can see there's a technical
Okay.
problem.
Yeah, there seems to be a problem with the video, but
There seems to be there's a problem with
maybe I'm gonna leave and come back.
She's gonna leave and come back. She's gonna leave and come back.
Okay. So welcome back, everyone.
Yes.
Okay, great. So welcome back.
We can hear you. I can hear you. Please. I don't know about the others.
Yes, I think we're all good. So how was that conversation? Anyone wants to share? Do you want to put it in the chat, or do you want to share what were some of your highlights for 2020, and what have you developed within the self in 2020? So if you don't want to unmute, you can always type it in the chat so that we can read it out to everyone. So if a few of you wanted to share. So what were your highlights for 2020? And what were some of the aspects that you developed within yourself? What have I learned in all the change in 2020? Or maybe you want to share your partner's insight or realization or experience for 2020. So thank you, Devash. So definitely more compassion and understanding in dealing with my frail dad during lockdown, to accept and forgive myself. And then another, Vijayanti, I did meditation and I listened to many spiritual talks. That's wonderful. So developing new tools and making time for these things that I wouldn't normally have made time for, like meditation and listening to different motivational talks, developing compassion and understanding, acceptance. And Sandhya shared that this year I had gotten sick and I had to draw on my inner strength to get through this. I was forced to learn to invest time in myself and self-care. So really a deep learning there. And if we don't stop, I think our body will stop us. And so like you shared, you were forced to learn to invest time in yourself and in your self-care. Lakshmi, I was able to find more time for myself to meditate and reflect on my inner world and help my family with child minding. So that's great. So a lot of individuals seem to have really gone deeply inside to explore. And then Lenny, inner.
And sorry to interrupt. I couldn't complete the sentence. And I was able to take some food to my neighbor when one of the family members, when he passed away. And in small ways, I mean, because of the lockdown, couldn't do much. but sending good vibrations, prayers for others, you know. And I was able to find time for my friends to get connected, and doing meditation and attending seminars and talks, spiritual talks. I was able to enhance my knowledge, which helped me to like cope up with the everyday life. Thank you very
So it's-
much for giving me an opportunity. Thank
So
you.
wonderful.
God bless you. Take care.
Thank you, Lakshmi.
Okay.
That's so wonderful. I think
Okay.
in this lockdown, many have appreciated how these little things are life. I know
It's true.
on Friday, I was walking on the beach and I
Yeah.
thought, this is life, you know.
It is
Often
true.
we think life is everything else, that I have to do all the roles and responsibilities.
Yeah,
But I can do that and attend to my self-care.
that's true.
And-
And we have learned to appreciate more, even the nature, and because you find time for yourself. And because since you are, you know, under lockdown, you can't do much. So you appreciate even every simple act of others, you know, like it's a blessing, an opportunity given to you to serve others, at the same time to receive from God's children. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
Sorry to have
wonderful.
interrupted you. Sorry to
No,
have
that's
interrupted
great.
you.
That's wonderful. So I can appreciate the enthusiasm and the real depth of learning about life that occurred for you in 2020. So wonderful.
Yes. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you. And then
Thank you.
Lenny shared, I feel inner peace through self-discovery and my relationship with the Supreme Being. Forgiveness opened doors, and I've enjoyed relationships better as I have humbled myself. So thank you, Lenny Malloy. And then Roshni, I connected more with nature and I did a lot of introspection. And Mala, focus on service for others who are in need, not focusing on fears and panic around. I have an appreciation for each being. Life in 2019 was moving too fast. That's true. So it's wonderful. So this virus has slowed us to appreciate what is important. So thank you all for that sharing. That's great. So as you can see, it's been quite a profound year and experience for everyone, and there's always something we can learn and find meaning in every aspect of my life and in every aspect and every scene that had occurred in this year 2020. So thank you. Taking on this, we want to now look at what do you do to care for yourself? We want to learn from each other. And so what I would like to do now is to ask you to reflect on another question, caring for myself. I want you to, so the next slide is caring for myself. I want you now with your pen and paper to spend a few minutes listing some of the ways you care for yourself. Already in the first reflection, you have begun that journey profoundly and beautifully, and it's really wonderful that 2020 has given you that chance. So now spend a few moments just listing some of the ways you care for yourself, not only in your time off, but also at work. It could be trivial or significant things. Write down what you actually do now. So possibly a significant thing or a trivial thing is, ensuring you take your leave for the year. Some workaholics don't even do that. And, a trivial thing like taking a bathroom break or sitting out in the garden at work to have your lunch. So what do you do? Some of the ways you care for yourself, not just in your time off, but also at work. And write down what you actually do. And we can all learn from each other. If you look at that picture, you can see some of these flowers are dying. And so what do I do to nourish myself so I can be this beautiful flower that I can offer to the world with a beautiful fragrance. And so we won't get you into breakout rooms, but if you can list these now quietly for yourself, and then we will share this with the bigger group, and you can share in some general areas of your life, like physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually, environmentally. What do you do? What do you actually do to care for yourself? So take your pen and paper, and in the next minute or so, write down what you actually do to care for yourself. Okay, so maybe some of you are ready to share, and we would love to learn from you. So if you can list in the chat box, or if you want to share verbally, you're also welcome to unmute yourself and share. But if you could share some of the things you already do to care for yourself. So wonderful. I'll start sharing what comes up in the chat. So I cook more nutritious meals. That's great. Taking meal breaks, because I used to neglect that at work. I connect more with God. So this is Ujama Nujomo. Okay, so great. So I cook more nutritious meals, taking meal breaks, because I used to neglect that at work. I connect more with God through meditation or listening to spiritual talks. I exercise, even simply walking around a sports field if I don't have a lot of energy. I've booked sessions with the psychologist, and I spend quality time with friends and family to recharge me. That's wonderful. So physical, spiritual, and emotional well-being. That's excellent. Congratulations, Ujama. And then Vijayanti, every hour I leave my desk and I do deep breathing in the bathroom. And during my lunchtime, I plug in my headphones and listen to a guided meditation for 15 minutes. That's wonderful. So at work, Vijayanti has created a pattern that supports her well-being and supports her self-care. And Lakshmi, meditation, prayers, having healthy diet, cooking with love and gratitude, doing yoga, Pilates, and teaching dancing. Wonderful, Lakshmi. So excellent. I'm sure you're all getting inspired just hearing all of these wonderful aspects of self-care. Lindiwe Dlamini, I've secured a private corner to connect with myself, to meditate. And this is at home, and the bathroom floor is the best. I guess you can close that door and be alone. And then Alice Mputso, I bought myself a few goodies and I gave myself more time for prayer. So wonderful. So that's self-care and spoiling the self and making more time for prayer, contemplation, introspection. And then Lakshmi. And I also child mind. So excellent. So spending time with children, our grandson, and minding my grandson. So I guess that also brings a balance within the self, not just thinking about all the work that one needs to do, but balancing it with good social circumstances and social environments that bring a balance to myself. So wonderful. Any other thoughts? Swami, Guru Bhaktananda, I have
Can I talk
shifted.
now?
Should I read this one first and then you'll share? Or do you want to?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I have shifted from a quiet monastic setup in India to working in a vibrant team at an old age home in Durban. This is a big change for me. I have to try to adjust to people. I give people more time. I also find that working with many people makes me more aware of what I say and what I do. I find I need to be more aware of the needs of others around me. So wonderful. That quiet monastic setup in India has really primed Swami to give absolute benefit to this old age home in Durban. It's a big change, but you're well prepared and giving people more time, working with many so that it makes you more aware of what I say and what I do. And I find I need to be more aware of the needs of others around me. So one can never stop learning. Thank you for sharing that, Swami. And somebody wanted to share verbally. That's great. If you can unmute and share.
Good afternoon. Good
Hello.
afternoon.
Yes.
Hello. I would like to share my best thing that I've ever done this year is to join the Brahma Kumari. And it has really helped me a lot, the mindset and sorry, I'm just a bit nervous. I think that for me personally, Brahma Kumari has really taught me a lot of to be self-confident and also to have a set mind. Sorry, I think that I'll just go as far as there. Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So making time with the Brahma Kumaris to meditate has really supported your self-confidence. Well, you took the courage to speak now. So that's really proof of what it has done for you. So that inner spiritual work making a difference. And Lenny Malloy, remember God in all my daily roles. I start my day with deep breathing, meditation, and exercises. I spend silent time with myself. I remember the drama as the stage of life and acts of others, and I accept, accommodate, and love and treat others with kindness. Wow, Lenny. So a lot of learning there. And Lakshmi has also shared what a blessing it has been to be part of a spiritual community with the Brahma Kumaris. And Devash sharing that having to change gear from yoga and meditation more often to be a caregiver 24/7, I had to learn to bring my calm mind to the challenging situation, to consciously breathe. Mini yoga breaks, connecting to my praying partner to release emotion, taking time off to sit in silence and contemplation without guilt to return to my space of love helps to expand my service to the one in need, my vulnerable, frail dad. So wonderful, Devash. Wonderful insights there. So using the short moments in between the 24 hours of caring with deep breathing, conscious breathing, mini yoga breaks, connecting with her praying partner to release emotion. So the importance of support. Taking time off to sit in silence and contemplation without feeling guilty, to return to the space of love, helps to expand my service to the one in need, my vulnerable father. And so wonderful. And Anand and Sandika, commending Audrey for her courage to share her self-care practice with us. So thank you. So that's really wonderful. I think you all have really been using this year in a phenomenal way, and we're going to end it with even more wonderful goals that we can take forward, or we're going to reaffirm these goals and appreciate and value them so that we carry it forward in 2020. So thank you. This is really exceptional. If you want, we'll copy the chat at the end and we can email it to you so you can catch some of the aspects shared by yourself. So that is why it is so important to encourage a learning community so we can learn from each other. So that's wonderful. So if you can now just look at all the domains of your life: physical, psychological, social, environmental, spiritual, and look at what you do and what you can continue to do to improve your self-care, to value yourself without that guilt, like somebody has mentioned, and without the pressure to run back to the responsibilities, knowing that if I take care of myself, I can give the very best to all those that are vulnerable. And so to just conclude this session, I'd like to guide you through a meditation now. And so this meditation is especially to help you create your healing space and experience a caring energy and the feeling of being cared for. Because as a healthcare worker, you're always caring for everyone else. Do you give yourself that time to experience a healing space? And not only experience a healing space, but allow yourself to receive, to be cared for. And so let's look at that now. We'll skip forward to a meditation slide so that you can reflect and sit back, holding the many beautiful thoughts that have come up from all the individuals. I invite you now to sit back comfortably and relax. And in our minds, I've been hearing and being inspired by all the individuals in this room as we meet virtually. And now I take a deep breath in, just filling my lungs with peace to its absolute depths, and I breathe out. Once again, I take a deep breath in, just filling my lungs with peace. Holding it, 1, 2, 3, and I breathe out. And I observe my breathing as I gently breathe in and I gently breathe out, just encouraging my entire body to become totally relaxed, allowing all my tensions to fall away. I become absolutely present in this moment, now. And now I want you to imagine sitting comfortably in a room, looking through a large window with sunlight streaming through it. Outside, there is a beautiful scene of nature. Just looking at this scene brings a sense of calm and inspiration. The interior of the room that I imagine is set up in such a way that it is in harmony with my inner self. Look around you and describe this room to yourself. What are the colors in the room? What are the textures, the furniture, the objects in this room? Here you can stay as long as you want, whenever you want. What are the smells in this room? I run my fingers over the seat that I'm sitting on and just become so present, so comfortable, so peaceful in this room. You can sit, walk, talk as you wish, but there is no one to determine how you should be. You just are. Appreciate yourself in this moment. Appreciate your uniqueness. Relax and enjoy being in this peaceful, beautiful room. And now imagine there is someone nearby who you care for and who cares very deeply for you. And that one, your friend, confidant, your partner, understands you more than you even understand yourself. At times when you need them most, you can sense their caring thoughts and feelings supporting you. It may not even be a physical human being. It may be the energy of a higher being, one that cares for and supports you in their thoughts. In this moment, you feel so at peace with yourself and the world. You are content. You are peaceful. You have everything you need. You are cared for. You are loved. And you just savor this experience of peace and comfort and care. And I allow this feeling of care to just penetrate and soak into my entire being. As I sit here in my healing space, feeling so cared for. And now gently in my own time, I become aware of my body sitting on this chair. I move my legs, my arms, and I look around. And maybe I want to stretch or move a little at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. It's Lakshmi here. Thank you for the beautiful talk and the meditation. It was beautiful and so inspiring and serene and so peaceful. And thank you for giving us an opportunity to take part in your session.
It's not over, don't worry. There's lots more. But thank you for that appreciation.
Thank you. Yeah. God bless. Okay.
Wonderful.
Have a
So,
blessed Sunday. Thank you. Yeah.
okay, great.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
next, I want to share with you the slides, slide 4, Nita. So thanks, Lakshmi, for sharing those words of appreciation.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
So,
Sorry to have interrupted.
no, I thought you thought the session was over, but
Oh,
we'll finish it.
Yeah,
We'll
that's what I
finish it.
thought. Sorry.
No, we'll finish
I
at
didn't want to win
5.
I didn't want to win the race.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So Lakshmi is also joining us from London. So that's
Yep.
great.
Thank you.
So I want you now to look at this slide. And I'm sure as a healthcare worker, you've heard of everyone telling us about resilience. And these are amazing pictures of resilience. So if you look at the flowers in the picture, look at that one, surrounded by tar, such a hard environment, but still breaking through this shrub. And then the other plant as well, to the right, the flower, you can see that is also tar. And if you look at that tree in the middle picture, it's a tree that is weather beaten. And so how often in my life, the environment is very harsh, and I do persevere like that tree, continued to grow despite the harsh weather conditions. And then I love this little orange, this orange that is being peeled, robbed of its dignity, and it still gets up and says, sometimes you just have to pick yourself up and carry on. And how often do you feel like that? Like somebody's just taken the skin off you and you just pick yourself up and you carry on like this little orange. And then if you look on your far right-hand corner, there's a man in a suit pushing this huge obstacle, this huge stone before him. And then if you look at your far left, there's somebody telling themselves, I can't do it. And then cutting away the can't, and I can do it. And I was just remembering just 2 weeks ago, a colleague of mine, an oncologist, had just told me that, she's just come back 3 weeks ago from leave, and she felt ready to take on the world. And it's only 3 weeks and she's burnt out. And she's so frustrated, and she just needs another holiday. And so it must get exhausting to keep pushing forward and bouncing back. And that is what is expected of the healthcare worker, to keep pushing forward and bouncing back. And yet the fatigue does set in. And so I wanted to share with you some tools that can support that. Because how often do you have to psych yourself up? You feel like, I can't do this. And yet you then coach yourself like that choo-choo train, that said, I can. And at some point, will I be able to continue to say I can? And so we move on to the next slide. And in the next slide, we can appreciate the external factors that may erode my self-confidence. Because all of that which is happening externally is slowly eating away at my self-worth, my self-confidence. And some of the aspects, mentioned from colleagues and in my experience personally, is the feeling that there's no time, no energy, no space with increased roles and responsibilities. So physical factors that erode my self-confidence, psychological factors, a fluctuating self-worth and confidence based on how perfectly my role is executed in the eyes of myself or others. So how often is my self-worth and my confidence based on how perfectly I've executed something in my limited view and in the view of others? And how often, is there this eroding of my self-confidence when I don't feel appreciated, when I go the extra mile, and yet individuals are so violent almost in their approach in their crisis. And then trying to be perfect and control everything. I think this is a personality of a healthcare worker. I have to be perfect and control everything. And then accordingly, it has the psychological impact to affect my self-confidence. And then I tell myself I can't do it, I'm not capable. And then I try to convince myself I can do it. So these factors, that fluctuating psyche, is also causing a fatigue and impacting on the individual. I know just this morning's spiritual class that I attended, it was shared that victory is an internal state, and success is an external state. And so I can always maintain the awareness that I am victorious in all the change. And accordingly, then I attract success externally. Because even in apparent darkness, there is benefit. So like many of you have been sharing at the beginning, in your learnings for 2020, this could have been a year that you wanted to tear out of the story of your life, but many of you have made it a profound experience for the rest of your life. And then other external factors that erode my self-confidence socially is unrealistic expectations of emotionally volatile persons in crisis. And this is expected as a healthcare worker. And I cannot change others and wish for them to respect me or demand them to respect me, but I can continue to maintain my own self-worth and stay stable, unaffected, and uninfluenced by the volatile energy around me. And then culturally, another factor is that we're working within environments with many societal and cultural bias, for example, gender bias, and that has an impact on my self-confidence as a healthcare worker. And then spiritually, the individual may feel spiritually depleted with no personal reflective time and a loss of purpose and meaning in their profession. And of late, there are many individuals who have called me with that feeling that, like I shared about this individual, that she felt she needed another holiday, and what was the meaning of this whole life and this whole profession. And so external factors that erode my self-confidence physically, psychologically, socially, culturally, and spiritually. And we move to the next slide. And the next slide is offering factors and thoughts of internal power that can nourish my self-confidence. And I loved this picture that I found on Google Images. If you look at this lady, she's standing with the wind blowing, violently through her hair, but she's so grounded in all the beautiful colors, with a smile on her face, so cool and calm, so nothing affects her. And so these are some thoughts that one can hold to nourish my self-confidence. And the first thought is trust the self. Don't be stressed by what you have to do, but remember it is how you do what you do that matters. So whilst a healthcare worker has to be competent, but often even with all the competence, there's still a lack of self-trust. So there's a lack of confidence. And so don't be stressed by what you have to do, but remember it is how you do what you do that matters. So it's that deep self-worth that I bring to the task. So I have to bring the whole of me to the task, not just my competent skills, but I have to bring who I am to the task. And then the second point of power that can nourish my self-confidence is don't be influenced and react to the volatile individuals or situations. See the task or person as a catalyst for my personal development, and then to commend and appreciate the self for having grown through the experience. I know not too long ago, I was in a family, at a consult, and everyone was quite emotional and angry with each other. And the son told me, "You sort him out." And he walked out of the room in a very violent way. And so I just kept calm as the patient went to the bathroom. And when he came back, so, I said, well, they want us to chat. And we made light of it. And, he shared with me what was really affecting him. And instead of, thinking I'm a professional, this is not how you treat me, I appreciated that that's a family in crisis, and I was not influenced or affected with all that high energy. And then being stable, not just seeing that as something that's come to shake me. I then dealt with what needed to be dealt with professionally, compassionately, and accordingly, things have improved significantly in that situation. And so be aware that we are living in very tense times, and everyone is highly charged and anxious and negative, but I don't need to absorb that into myself. I need to be grounded like that image and bring who I am to the situation or circumstance, and see that situation or circumstance as your milestones for your personal development and success. And so the third internal power is stay in your innate higher frequency energy and neutralize the emotions externally. And the example of a tuning fork. So we know that a tuning fork, when you tap it and it begins to vibrate, it creates vibrations that travel through the matter it's placed on, through the air, to set other tuning forks into a similar vibration and frequency. And so similarly, can I not be affected or influenced by the high energy, suppressive, eroding factors that are trying to take me away from who I am and why I'm here, but can I vibrate in a higher frequency energy to neutralize the emotions around me? And another point of power to nourish my self-confidence is don't base your confidence on your role, but remind yourself daily why am I here? So don't base your confidence on your role, but remind yourself daily, why am I here? And I've heard many beautiful sharings by fellow colleagues, many having the understanding that I'm an instrument of a greater good with the purest intentions to heal others. And I'm sure this is your intention as well. And so never forget why you are here. And that if I see myself as an instrument, I can allow the ocean to flood into me and that compassion to flow out of me. And I can stay anchored and rooted and grounded in why I am here with the purest intention to heal others. And remember as well that I have all the resources within me to meet challenges. I do have all the resources within me to meet challenges. So again, that self-trust. And another point of power is that I am supported. I am not alone. I am supported. I am not alone. And so in the bigger scheme of things, there is a higher energy that we can tap into and feel supported as an instrument, a conduit, and not to feel alone. And as I tap into that higher energy, I keep my energy high. I keep my energy powerful. And so these are some thoughts, and we'll go to the last slide on this. And so with those thoughts, there's some simple practices we can take today. And from what you had shared in the first session, many of you are practicing this already. And if I can make it a dedicated routine, so to begin my day with 10 minutes creative me time, visualizing a successful day. So this individuals who told me she just needed another holiday after just coming back from a holiday because of the extreme pressure and expectation of her patients. She said, I begin my morning jogging, but this morning it was raining and I couldn't jog. And so she made a wonderful Indian chutney. and she said she felt so much better. But together with doing physical things, sometimes the environment may not allow us to do physical things to support my well-being in the morning. It may be raining, the children may wake up, and so I might not have that time. And so for each one of us, can we now begin our day with just 10 minutes of creative visualization, creative me time, visualizing a successful day? And then can I end my day with 10 minutes of reflective time? So 10 minutes quietly, be it in the bed or in your quiet corner, just visualizing a perfect, powerful, beautiful day, how you walk through the day, how you interact, how you speak, how you deal with difficult situations, how you go to sleep. So in the morning, you create the energy of your day. And at the end of your day, have 10 minutes reflective time, appreciating your day's successes. So appreciate what you have done well today and reflect on what took me away from my purpose and find meaning in that challenge. Because as you scan your day, there are precious moments, but as you scan your day, there were also difficult times. But from that difficulty, can I find the meaning in that challenge? And so when I find the meaning, I am more likely to stay rooted and anchored in that meaning the next time the challenge appears. And then in my reflection at the end of the day, can I come back to my purpose and visualize this and never forget why you do what you do. And so at the end of the day, it's not just how you start your day, but how you end your day. Appreciate your successes, reflect and learn from your challenges, but also come back to your purpose and re-experience and visualize this. So visualize yourself whole and full again before you go to sleep, doing what you do because you want to do it with all that you are. And if I don't take care of myself, who will? And so make this time. 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening is not a lot to ask of anyone. You give the rest of your 18 hours to the world. Why not 20 minutes? 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening for me. And so these were some tools that I thought we would share. And now I'd like to, is there any thoughts or questions on some of those? So that's great. So that's wonderful. I see no questions on that. If not, I would like you now to work with me and with each other on the next few topics. And the next one is building and sustaining my self-confidence. So I want to guide you through an exercise to help build and sustain my self-confidence. Because like we said, everything from outside is trying to finish you off, but you need to shine with that deep self-worth, self-confidence from within. And so can I build and sustain my self-worth, my self-confidence today? So can I guide you now through the next two slides? So the next one, I want you to reflect on what is the attitude of a self-confident person toward being in crisis, toward success, toward obstacles, work, colleagues, patients, friends. So can I reflect on what is the attitude of a self-confident person towards these different areas? Anyone wants to unmute and share? Because of time, I'm not going to get you into groups. I thought maybe we could look at this, or if you'd like to, we could do a short stint in the group. But if you can on your own now, with your pen and paper, if you can just reflect on what is the attitude of a self-confident person towards being in crisis, just jot it down. What's their attitude, their approach towards being in crisis, towards success? And write it down. Towards obstacles, towards work, towards colleagues, towards patients, and friends. Okay, so great. So Devash is saying that she notices that in answering these questions, that one who is self-confident is not reactive, but responsive and calm. And Vijayanti is sharing, I try to remain equanimous in difficult situations. So wonderful. So as you were answering that, you could see that there's an equanimity that emerges in crisis or stress or success or obstacles, work, with colleagues, with patients, or with friends, and equanimity, equal vision, equal attitude. So if you don't need more time for that, we'll skip to the next one. So name 2 values. I'll just read some of your feedback from the last one as well. So before we go to the next one, Lakshmi also said, I try to remain calm, be patient and understanding. Swami shared, in a crisis, I will try to feel I am the foundation on which something is happening. So that's great. So wonderful attitudes, wonderful thoughts. And towards success, I reflect humility. That's Lindiwe Glamini. So great. So if you can continue to reflect on the attitude of a self-confident person, and now we're reflecting on 2 values of a self-confident person. What 2 values will they have in dealing with the following? A dominating manager, a difficult family member. So if I'm a self-confident person, what 2 values will I use in dealing with a dominating manager, a difficult family member, making a mistake, junior colleagues, a complaining patient, a rebellious child, and anxious relatives of a patient. So I'm sure you've been reflecting on that. So any thoughts coming up? Values that a self-confident person will have in dealing with the following: a dominating manager, a difficult family member, making a mistake, junior colleagues, a complaining patient, a rebellious child, anxious relatives of a patient. So Vijayanti, I usually use reverse psychology and it works with young kids. So thanks for that, Vijayanti. A good tip for those who have rebellious or young children. I know for myself, looking at this list, I was just feeling, one who has deep self-worth and is very confident, not be influenced or affected by the manager, the difficult family member, but will hold their self-worth, own their own energy, and bring that to the table. And even if one makes a mistake, this too was a learning. I can learn and grow from the mistake. But if I wallow in the mistake, I lose all my self-worth. And then I'm fluctuating, high energy, low energy, and that is very tiring. And that takes me away from that continued growth and that real victory within. And then with junior colleagues, with senior colleagues, so let me read some that had appeared on the chat. So Theresia, empathy and kindness. Lakshmi, calm, kind, understanding and encouraging their positive potentials, especially with children and junior colleagues. And Swami, I would try to see what is the person concerned about regardless of his attitude. Is it something fair or has it got no basis at all? And then Vijayanti, for me, making a mistake is a learning curve. I use it as my teacher. Devash, patience to pause and understand others and stay non-judgmental, to give allowance and acceptance that helps me to create space to influence change. So wonderful. So many beautiful values coming up there by all of you. So empathy, kindness, calm, understanding, encouraging, humility, learning, growing, patience, pausing, non-judgmental. So that's great. So from these two slides, now we move to the next one. What are your three main qualities of self-confidence? So Vivek also added tolerance, past experience, and personal values, using wisdom to overcome hurdles. So now, based on the attitudes and the values that we've looked at of self-confidence, what are my three main qualities of self-confidence? So these are qualities, values, attitudes you already use. So remember, we want to appreciate what we do. And many of you shared what you do in those relationships, expressing your self-confidence. And in the next question, what three qualities of self-confidence would you wish to develop more? What three qualities of self-confidence would you wish to develop more? So can you reflect on that? And we can take you into a breakout room, but just for a short while. We can do just about 4 minutes so that you can get to meet another person or another two people, and you get to share the qualities that you already practice so they can learn from you, but also three qualities of self-confidence you want to reflect on more and you wish to develop more in your life. So holding these two questions in your mind, if you can, in the breakout room now, unmute yourself, open your video, and have a relaxed conversation of learning with two others in the group. So we'll just give you 4 minutes for that. Oh, it was too short. I'm sure you all wanted to keep speaking. So,
Yes.
so
That's
I'm sure
true.
yeah. I can't help it. You guys are all so time conscious. So I'm trying to be aware of time. Yeah, but I did feel there wasn't enough time. Uh, so there's so much to learn from each other and each other's experience. So anyone wants to share in the big group? Maybe in your group, those who had a chance to share, you want to share what your partner shared, or you want to share what you shared with the bigger group, so we can all learn from the three qualities of self-confidence that you already practice, but also you wish to develop and make more profound within yourself. So Lakshmi shared the quality of detachment, non-judgmental, and understanding. So this has helped her. So being a more uninfluenced and detached by the emotions, non-judgmental and understanding.
I'll share.
That's
I
great.
think with me, I listen. I'm a good listener. I really do listen. I let them speak and listen, and I remain. One of my strengths is I remain calm, and I can easily detach from what I have listened to. That can lead me to detaching.
That's wonderful. So that's your strength. You're a listener. So and using that skill, it really helps you stay grounded. That's
Oh,
wonderful.
everything is going so fast.
Thanks. Is that Gloria that was speaking?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So thank you, Gloria. And then Anand, so Swami shares, Anand Pillai and I chose knowledge, faith and trust and compassion. Both had compassion. I wanted the two of you to end up in the same group, so that was perfect. So great. And Vivek Surendra shared anger control, emotional control, and the art of maintaining harmony. So that's great.
Yeah,
So anger
yes.
control, emotional control, and the art of maintaining harmony. And these groups are randomly created. So often you end up in the perfect group to meet who you're supposed to meet, to learn what we need to learn. And so I know I was with Lindiwe, and I loved how she has such deep faith and conviction in her intention and her deep honesty. And because she's honest with herself and she knows she only wants to offer the best, if things happen, she stays rooted in that honesty and great intention. And also, she wants to develop more the aspect of being kind. And she's been starting to practice that also with the children. So if mistakes are made, to be kind. And so likewise, she's practicing that kindness on herself because she's work in progress. And so accordingly, mistakes will be made, but how does she respond to that mistake? And she wants to develop that kindness. And I know for myself, I also shared, wishing to develop more a constant experience of self-worth and self-confidence, not fluctuating, but being so watchful on the inside that I don't allow anything from externally to diminish that light of that pure intention and who I am, and never to forget that I'm just an instrument. And so thank you. Anyone else wants to share? So to carry on that dialogue with yourself, what 3 qualities of self-confidence do I wish to develop even more, and to appreciate the qualities that you do have? Because really the basis of life is having faith in yourself, and having that deep faith in who I am and why I'm here and what I have to offer, with that cleanliness and purity of intention. And so can I hold on to that in my profession, in my family, in all aspects of my life? And now, if you continue to reflect on that, I want to guide you to the next, last exercise. And Devash is also sharing, I'll just share that as well. Self-awareness of my innate divinity to guide my actions. And when I'm misaligned, courage to step up to my higher self and let go of the ego mind, and definitely tolerance. So thank you, Devash, for that. So self-awareness, and then when I'm misaligned, courage to step up to my higher self, let go of the ego mind, and definitely tolerance. So now I want you to look at this slide. And in this slide, I want you now to consider for a moment that you have been advised that you need to radically change your lifestyle as a matter of urgency for health or other reasons to improve your self-care. Like one of you shared at the very beginning, sickness had to be the reason you had to delve deeply to take care of yourself. So now for all of us to consider for just a moment that you have been advised that you need to radically change your lifestyle as a matter of urgency for health or other reasons to improve your self-care. List all the things you had always wanted to do which would enhance your self-care. What is really important to you? Something you would like to happen or achieve or develop a skill in? Why is this important to you? So whilst you're listening to this, take your pen and paper and jot down, list the things that you always wanted to do to enhance your self-care. So this is our chance to move forward with goals for 20 December and 2021. So if I had been diagnosed with some challenge that needed and immediately for me to change and to improve my self-care, list the things you always wanted to do, what is really important to you, and what you would like to happen or achieve or develop a skill in. So just list it down. Don't think at all too hard. Just from your heart, list it down. And just reflect, why is this particular aspect of self-care important to me? What does this change give me? It's great, you're writing down. Wonderful. So some of you are sharing with the group as well. Okay, so we've listed some self-care goals I would like to move forward with now. And then to make space for it, I would have to give up something that's of no use to me. So maybe I dislike something, but I persistently, continue to do certain things. But now, if it's life-threatening, if you've been diagnosed with something for the moment, you need to take stock of life and choose what's important and choose what you are going to let go of to make space for this new goal. And what may stop you from achieving your goal, and what resources will help you achieve your goal. So what may stop you from achieving your goal, and what resources will help you achieve your goal. So a very, very important aspect of this workshop is choosing an action plan that I go forward with from these 2 hours that I spent here. So we've reflected on many aspects, but now how do I want to go forward from this moment? So we started the session looking at self-care that I already practice, and then we looked at feeling cared for and creating a healing space in my mind to accept that caring. We looked at some tools that I had shared with you, the tools of self-trust, not allowing the external environment and situations to affect, and to have that deep self-trust as an instrument connected to my highest intention, and to have deep faith in that. And we looked at attitudes and values of a self-confident person. We listed some of the qualities I would like to develop more in myself. And now to look at my action plan to make changes so that I can care for myself, I can value myself. So Veronica shared that I want to let go of analysis and try to find answers, and I want to let go of analyzing and trying to find answers to everything. So they call it analysis paralysis, isn't it? So wonderful, Veronica. You want to just live in the present, not overthinking, but enjoying the moment. Swami, I want to be more patient with people who are difficult. That's wonderful. And Vijayanti, I was diagnosed as a pre-diabetic and high cholesterol. I changed my way of eating and wanted to see my grandson grow. I wanted to have a healthy life. So wonderful. So when a diagnosis comes, we make changes. But with this year, we've just seen that we need to make changes now to live the life I wish to live, not just existing like a rodent on the wheel, but choosing the life I want to experience, because this is an expression of who I am. Swami also said develop regularity in basic functions in life, like eating, meetings, and sleeping. So seems like boundary setting there, so set boundaries about when there should be meetings, when, make time for sleep, for eating. Vijayanti, I will put myself first because I'm always putting the family needs first. And so wonderful. And then just trying to get to the top of the chat. So for me, making, no, I read that. So Devash also shared letting go of overthinking things and taking a leap of faith and trust of the master within. Great. Vijayanti, I will put myself first because I've always been putting family needs first. Gloria, enriching my spirituality and traveling. Wonderful. So enjoy nature, Gloria. So 2020, here you come. So that's great. Enriching my spirituality and traveling. And Swami also shared developing regularity in basic functions, so, which I read. So yeah, I think I've read most of the sharings, but I want you to continue to reflect on this today and tonight. So Vivek shared letting go of working around the clock. What's not done, there will be time for priorities first in order of importance. You sound like you're determined, Vivek, so that's great. So be determined that I need to prioritize, and I need to prioritize me. So it starts with me, and if I get myself as my main priority, right, everything else will come to balance and be perfect and in harmony. You know, the lovely image of when you throw a stone into a lake and it ripples out. So at my core, if I have that stability, like that image of that lady in the storm, but grounded, and accordingly all domains of her life, physical, psychological, social, cultural, spiritual, come to balance. So can I make me my priority? So thank you for sharing, all of you that have shared. And I want to now guide you through a reflection. So the next slide. So I invite you now to become very comfortable once again and holding my purest, highest intention and change in my awareness. I feel it and touch it. This is what I am going to do to care for myself, to value myself. And I just sit with this goal. And in this moment, I watch my breath as I find its own rhythm, breathing in deeply, and I breathe out peacefully. Once again, I take a deep breath in, and I breathe out. And life is like the seasons. We've journeyed through the 4 seasons, and I feel like the spring is coming. And I will move into the spring of my life with absolute newness. The winter has been beneficial. It's given me time. It's given me space. It's woken me up to what really matters. And so now in the spring of my life, I hold my goal for the next month and the months to come in my awareness. My goal for self-care, my goal for valuing myself. And I grow this goal, watching it blossom in spring into summer. I hold this awareness, and I will watch this goal bear full fruit in the summer and autumn. And when I have mastered my goal, it will be time once again to withdraw in that winter, and to emerge afresh and anew with a brand new goal. And yet through it all, I stay anchored in who I am, staying so honest. Honest not to my weakness, but honest about the beauty and the power of I, this being who loves and cares for humanity. I value myself. I appreciate this amazing energy that I am, just because I am, not because of my role or my responsibility, not because of what I do or what I don't do. I am a competent, confident, compassionate being. And in everything that I do, I am anchored in this truth. And I bring myself in alignment always with who I am, knowing that I am supported, I'm never alone. There is a higher goodness that needs me as an instrument to bring this care and compassion to the world. And yet I have to start with myself, taking all that love and compassion from that source, steady in who I am. I live my day with full vibrance and wholeness, interacting and acting in the drama of life. And at the end of the day, I check, what have I done well today? What could I have improved? What did I learn today? And I visualize once again my purpose, why I am here. And I align myself with this in this moment. So thank you. So thank you all. So thank you all for participating, because this workshop could not happen without you. Otherwise, I would be speaking to the screen. So it's really great that you've all been so participatory. And and I wish we had more time, but I hope you have taken some tools and you end this year on an amazing note, appreciating all that you have learned, and choose. Today is the second last day of November. So choose an amazing goal you're going to go into December with, as you manage to practice that with your family and at work, and as we take that into the year 2021. So congratulations on the work that you have done, and goodbye. And we hope to continue, depending how the social circumstances change in the country, we would possibly continue with these online sessions. So, and if you have registered, you will get an email to remind you of the next Restoring Your Spirit program. So thank you so much. And those of you who are carers and wish to have some meditations that will support you, there's 7 beautiful meditations, especially written for healthcare workers, so that we can support them, and possibly you could play them as you drive home to just refresh and renew yourself. So you can always email our office, and we can send that to you. So take care and have a good evening this Sunday evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Raksha. It's Lakshmi here. The chat wouldn't work, so I couldn't, do it. Doesn't matter. Thank you for the beautiful session. You've really enlightened me, enhanced me, my knowledge. Thank you so much. You brought sunshine into my life. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
No more time to waste, no more excuses. Gotta reach out your arms and embrace the sun. No more time for self-pitying abuses. Gotta stand up and shout and say, I am the one. 'Cause there's been too much crying and talk of being free. Gotta jump off that cliff and be who you were born to be. No more time to waste on photos of the past. There's a star with your name on it and a love that's gonna last. 'Cause there's been too much holding on and talk of being free. Gotta take it all with you and be who you were born to be. Now I know the ice is melting, all the ships are going home, and the wind is getting colder and we feel more and more alone. So stop all your excuses, got the answers all.